Welcome to the #InvestThis podcast, where the secrets for real estate investing are revealed. Now, here's your host, Scott Bauer.
Welcome, everybody, to the 7th episode of the #InvestThis podcast. Today, we have my very special friend, Brian Cunningham, with us today. He is the founder of AZ Flat Fee, a full-service flat fee real estate company, and former founder and owner of the We Buy Ugly Houses franchise here in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. Brian, welcome to the call. Thank you for being here. How you doing?
Good. Appreciate the invite today. It means a lot. Thanks, Scott.
Absolutely. You want to go ahead and give our listeners a little bit more background about yourself and kind of what you're focused on now?
Yeah. So since 2010, I've been either helping other investors invest or investing myself in various partnerships in single-family residential houses. Right. For that entire time, I had been helping investors list their houses for a flat fee because, as we know, all of us as real estate investors are looking out for our bottom line. We've got to find cheaper ways to get flooring, cheaper ways to get granite, cheaper ways to get realtors, right? So I've been listing flat fee for, my exclusive relationships. And I said this last year that I wanted to let everybody know that I would list a house for a flat fee and give them full service. So in August, I started AZ Flat Fee, and that's my main focus. I cleared the table of all the other stuff I had going on, and I put 100% of my focus behind this.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Was that I guess a challenging, what made you get to that decision? I mean, obviously it sounds like you come from a place of giving and you really wanted to give people out there the opportunity to be able to list their house and save more money for the seller while still getting full service. But I mean, why, what made you make that change?
Yeah. So in my full disclosure, in my partnerships and in my real estate investing, I was always the minority partner. I was always the hustle. I was always the one out, belly to belly negotiating the deals. And I would see when I would go on these appointments, there was a really big need. When I didn't buy the house, I still had a motivated seller sitting in front of me. And it was more often than not that the person still wanted to sell their house and didn't sell to me. Now, I bought a ton of houses and I bought them deep and we made great money, but I saw this huge pool of people that were being underserviced, that really needed help selling their house. And one of the things that they confided in me is, Brian, I can't justify paying 6% to sell my house. In some cases that, on a $500,000 house, that's $30,000. That sends their kids to college for a year. And so as I kept, getting this disclosed to me and having clients confide in me that they, even though my offer didn't work for them, they still wanted to sell their house, I didn't have a way to help them. I wasn't prepared to do that. And so it took me a couple months to get ready and really wrap my head around the idea, but I wanted to provide a way for these sellers who couldn't sell. I wanted to give them liquidity. I want to give them market liquidity, right? Because you have to own your house for 3, 4, 5 years to be able to have a 6%, equity increase and be able to sell your house without losing money. That sucks.
It's very, very true.
I think the market should provide a better solution to that, and I'm trying. I think I'm doing that.
So, I mean, that's definitely admirable. Do you feel that right now, kind of we're in the Phoenix market, right? Where, I mean, It's very, very hot. Do you feel that it's getting tough? We have very low inventory here. So, I mean, is it hard to be a realtor right now?
No, so I actually see it as prime time to get in, and that's why I capitalized. Look, if you could put a for sale by owner sign out in your yard and almost sell your house, like get some interest, but not know what to do with it, that's a perfect time for a flat fee company, right? To emerge. And that's why I started. I figured, people in the listing agent side, right? The view of the listing agent, people are attacking their commissions so hard right now. OfferPad, Open Door, Homey, Purple Bricks, these companies that are really, demeaning the listing agent and trying to diminish their value and say, why do you need these guys? I think sellers still need representation, but I don't agree that they need to pay 3% for it because of the internet. The internet has changed almost every other industry and really went through and like changed the entire landscape. And it hasn't yet done that in real estate in a really meaningful way. I mean, sure, Zillow and Trulia have brought a little bit more, transparency, but they haven't brought it to the realtor realm yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. And I think that that's a pretty important point, and just that technology has changed a lot of industries. And really, I mean, it has changed real estate in a lot of ways, but it's not ever going to take away from the one-on-one interpersonal communication and interpersonal interaction that you're going to have, with your realtor. I mean, I compare it to if you're going to go to court. I mean, you're not going to go to court without representation, right? And
yeah,
it's very, very similar when it comes to a realtor. And I mean, it's not rocket science, so to speak, but there's a lot of rules and regulations and things that change constantly. And as for you as a realtor, that's really important.
Well, in doing what I've been doing the last 7, 8, 9 years in listing houses, I actually feel like listing a house isn't rocket science. It should be a repeatable process. If you're a realtor and you don't know what causes the sale, if you can't figure out what it is that you do from a marketing perspective, from a negotiating perspective that gets the contract and actually gets you paid, you're in the wrong business. You know what I mean? But I've set up a system where I feel like I understand what drives the contract and how to, get eyeballs and how to get interested parties. And so I want to make it a repeatable and affordable process. And the other thing too, that since we're on #InvestThis and we have primarily an investor-based audience, guys, I want to say that I'm here to help the investor too. I'm not cutting off all ties to the investment world. I still think investors are underserviced. If you're paying 1.5, all the way up to 3% for a realtor and you're not happy, I've been on that side of the business too, and I know what it feels like. I'd be happy to take investor clients so that they don't have to, use a new agent and underpay them because they don't know anything and try and train them. That's a hard thing to do. Or overpay someone who seemingly is qualified enough to, handle the business. It's flat fee, $3,000 to list and sell your property, period. Doesn't matter what the sales price is.
Man, that's awesome. And you're right. The majority of the listener base here are investors investing in single family, multifamily, commercial, whatever they're investing in. So, it's interesting to get a perspective from somebody who's gone from the investment world over to the realtor world. I mean, in the time that I've been here, I see that people don't typically take that route. They'll actually go the other way, where they're a realtor first and then move into the investment world. So when you're comparing and contrasting the two, are there any major points that stick out that, would really affect or help our listeners? Maybe if they're struggling in their investment business, maybe they look at the, typical residential or just retail side. I mean, do you have any points?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I did it is I look at this. If I were to go off on my own and I didn't have a money partner, the flipping business is what I did mainly, primarily, right? I think in 2017, I think we flipped like 50 houses. Like that's actually bought it, took it down, swung a hammer, and put it back on MLS and resold it fixed up, right?
Yeah.
That's a decent amount of business. If I were to try and do that on my own, it is insanely capital intensive, right? But to operate this flat fee model that I have going, it doesn't take a ton of capital in the business, right? It's my marketing plus my hustle, plus my operating expenses, right? But generally speaking, I don't have a $4 million capital outlay in inventory. I just have my marketing, and so far I'm cash flowing pretty well. So from, a balance sheet perspective or a cash flow perspective, I looked at this as a business that was sustainable, consistent, and something that if I poured some cash on the idea and poured some cash into the marketing, that I could have a pretty successful business.
Absolutely.
And realtors are laughing at me. I won't lie. When someone says, well, Brian, you're a good salesman, like you could probably get 3% business and be just fine. I could, but right now I have 14 listings and 4 buyers. I mean, do the math on that. I'm not doing too bad. And if I could do that every month, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. And I think that you're, those other realtors that are laughing at you are coming from a, monetary standpoint only. They're not necessarily looking at the value that you're adding, right? Because you're not necessarily in it for the money. At $3,000 at listing, you're not in it for the money, but at the same time, you're going to make great money because you're providing value to people, and that's what's most important. So that's awesome.
And let me say this. One thing that I guess you emailed me in preparation for this call and for this podcast, and you asked, what's one piece of advice that you would give to the Invest This listener base? And I think it's this. It came out of what you just said. The realtors that are making fun of me right now for taking less than I'm worth, right, and taking a 3% or a $3,000 listing opposed to a 3%, aren't customer facing when they're having that thought, right? Yep. They're being selfish in that thought. And whether you're in residential resale real estate like I am right now, or you're an investor trying to buy someone's property, you have to understand, we're in the customer service business, and our job, the only way you're going to get a contract to purchase a house is if that consumer, that customer feels like they're being taken care of, feels like your service is answering or filling a need that they have. If you're not fulfilling the customer need, they're going to, quickly stop being your customer. So I think as you're trying to buy these houses, belly to belly with sellers, make sure that you're taking care of them. Make sure you know when they want to move, why they want to move. And if you can figure out those points and you've built trust with them, you're going to buy their house. But if you have no add value to them, they're going to call the next guy and sell to somebody who cares about them and is going to treat them right.
Absolutely.
And I think it's why you're successful, Scott.
What? Because I care about people?
Yeah, I think there has to be, in all sales period, there has to be a certain level of empathy. Can't be too high, otherwise you're never going to buy the house at 65 cents on the dollar. But it has to be high enough so that the customer feels like you care.
Yep. No, I mean, you're 100%. Now, I kind of want to shift from there even because now, I mean, although, you're on the residential or the retail side, do you feel that you're still getting opportunities to find deals? Like you're still getting out customer facing, so you're actually going to be in front of all these different properties everywhere you go. Do you still see opportunities where, you can still get a highly discounted property or refer to an investor like me or something like that? I mean, are you seeing that stuff, or is it kind of the other way where the market is so hot right now that the majority of your stuff that you're seeing is very retail? What are you finding?
Yeah, no. So far it's been very retail, but I feel like based on my marketing strategies that I'm implementing now, I've had kind of a tiered approach. I think it'll be one where I will be able to refer out business because they come to me and they don't have a market ready property. I will not let that person list their house because I am a firm believer, even though I left the investment side of the business, there is a need for mom and pop or big institutional investment buyers. There's some people who just aren't ready to sell. Everybody that I've taken on so far has had a house that's ready to sell, but I think, in the near future, I'll be able to refer out some business.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I guess bring me into where you're going to go from here. What is your where are you trying to take this on is it to stay in the retail side until the markets change and maybe there's other opportunities to go back into the investment side, or are you blowing up this side of the business, the long run, and you're going to make this an actual business, hire people on, do everything that way? Let us know a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of cocky. I think, and maybe this is nuts, and you guys could laugh and post it in comments in this podcast, but I literally think I can change the game. I think right now real estate's ripe to be, to be changed, to be disrupted. And I feel like this concept has that potential. So what I'm trying to do is funnel all my focus here and really try and spread and get some market share. What I'd like to do here is over the next 6 months, gain some pretty heavy market share in Phoenix and then expand. I'd like to take this, I don't know if national is as big as I want to be, but definitely regional. Any market that has a decent median home price where I'm saving people money, I think I'm an add value and I want to grow there. So 2 to 3 years, I think the goal is growth. Try and show that I'm a substitute product for like an open door offer pad type.
Yeah.
Try and get bought. I really think this has, big potential.
Awesome, man. That is, I would agree. All the value that you're adding is top notch. And so, hats off to you for even recognizing that opportunity and taking kind of what you have in front of you, this economic market that we're all in now, and shaping it to a way that benefits not only you, but also benefits the clients out there, the people that are wanting to sell on the retail side. So that's fantastic and genius. And so thank you for that. You kind of already touched on this, but I'm going to touch on it again. I'm going to kind of take you through a lightning round, just a few quick questions I'm going to ask you and rattle them off to me. Good with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So what is your hashtag tip of the day to keep our listeners moving forward? You kind of said it already, but say it one more time.
I think provide value in everything you do. Give everyone your best. If you don't, you'll be out of business soon.
I love that. What's a favorite book you've ever read?
Oh, tough. Can I give like one or two?
I mean, yeah, give me your top two.
If I had to choose, the best book that I read last year was probably The Happiness Advantage. Let me see if I could find the author, just because. Happiness Advantage by Sean Achor, Achor. Kind of really helped me understand that positivity is contagious.
Yep.
Happiness can be chosen. It doesn't have to be handed to you.
That's 100% the truth right there. And you're right, it is contagious. I mean, you got to be around happy people all the time and you'll be happy. I mean, that's what it is. Was that the last book that you read?
No, that was not the last book that I read. So the last book that I read was The Thank You Economy by my boy Gary Vaynerchuk. I think last year I read 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, listen to. I'm a big audio guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 books.
Nice.
So a little over one a month.
The average CEO reads 60 books a year. So, you're a third of the way through.
Up. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up.
What about the best advice you've ever been given, and who gave that to you?
Oh, man. That's deep. I didn't read that in the email that you sent out. Thanks for tripping me up.
Hey, man.
Best advice I'd ever been given. It's probably something from Grant Cardone. I consumed a lot of content from Grant Cardone this last year, and I feel like it gave me the confidence to go off on my own and do this. But I think it's similar to kind of the attitude or I guess advice that I gave out is, first off, provide value. Second off, and this kind of speaks to Grant Cardone's maybe 10X book, the 10X rule. Like, once you've figured out what it is that you want to provide to the market, go out and get it out there, right? I think this is the quote that I feed off of and I'm thinking about a lot is the only thing or the biggest obstacle that the new entrepreneur has is obscurity. If everybody knew they could list their house in Phoenix with me for $3,000, they probably would, because I think I'm a top producing agent. I have a ton of value and I'm cheaper than anybody out there. Problem is not everybody knows about it.
Yep.
So I think, one, provide value, and two, get it out there as quickly and as fast as you can through all methods, social media, ground and pound, everything. So
get out there. Perfect. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, yeah, that's good. How do you like to give back?
Cool.
I'm getting some deep ones on you, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I've been greatly impacted in my life by the military and by police. My dad's a retired police officer, served in the military. He served in the Army. My grandpa served in the Air Force. It's been something close to me. So in AZ Flat Fee, I try and give back. So for any first responder or veteran or active duty military personnel, I give them a discount, and it's big. Like, I'm only charging $3,000 and I give them a $500 discount because that's how much I care, and how much I think, I want to say thank you to them. So that's a little bit of my give back. I like giving to my church. I think giving, like, once you've made it, once you have enough to meet your needs, if you're not giving, you're not achieving kind of your full potential. You know what I mean? You're holding something back. And so I'm kind of a big proponent in giving.
Yeah.
I don't have billions to give. I'm not Oprah out here. You get a car and you get a car, but I'm trying to do my part.
Yeah, man. No, I totally get that. And finally, I mean, how can we reach you? You said a lot of really good stuff on there. I'm sure, listeners out there are going to want to reach out to you. How can we find you?
Yeah. So, I actually am a big proponent of networking, and I'm happy to take calls, answer questions, whatever. So you can find me on Facebook, Brian Cunningham. Find me on Facebook at AZ Flat Fee. You can go to my website, azflatfee.com, or you can just call me. I really am not scared to give out my phone number. I post it on social media a lot. So yeah, feel free to give me a call. If you have questions, if you want to list your house with me, or if you just want to talk business, 480-370-6160. Don't forget it. You'll need it soon.
Sounds good, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate you being on the show today, letting us know a little bit about what you're doing with AZ Flat Fee. The value that you can bring from the investment side, or having that knowledge from the investment side, and transitioning that into an opportunity with AZ Flat Fee to be able to help clients out there with giving full service, at a flat fee reduced rate, and even, giving back more with giving a discount to, even on top of that, to military and other service people out there. And so that's huge, man. I love
you gave me a referral, right? And he was a vet, Jim Soderman, right? I don't think he minds me sharing that on this channel. He just listed his house and he sold it and bought a new house, and I charged him $2,500.
I bet he was blown away, man. I really do.
No, he was in tears, dude. It was great. So one, I appreciate the referral, and two, no, I'm really doing it.
That's awesome. Well, thanks again, man.
Well, thank you for the invite. I appreciate the opportunity to have the platform. I hope to be starting a podcast too, kind of residential side. You will be one of my very first guests. I want to return the favor.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate that. And, maybe we'll get you back on here 6 months or a year and check back in with you.
Let's do it.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Spread the word. Go ahead and reach out to Scott Bauer on all the social media outlets for suggestions on topics and guests for the show. And check out investthispodcast.com for more secrets and resources to achieve real success in real estate.